Hi, this is Lily, or Fudge, or whatever you want to call me. Actually, just those two. This is something I wanted to discuss for a really long time, and I feel like it's weird that it's not being discussed more, considering how prevalent it is in the community. And I wanted to just shed light upon how it's kind of impacting how I create and how I've been doing things in the game. You know, I haven't been making things that often. It's mostly because of adult life. Also, I didn't have a computer for a while. I just got a new one. That's how I'm making this video in the first place. Anyways, I just want to talk about this one problem and how it's really becoming an issue that is impossible to avoid, especially because I want to interact with the community. So I'm going to talk about it. This issue, which I've talked to creators about, is comments. I know you're going to say, hey, that's ridiculous, you can just ignore it. But my issue with comments is, let's say I make a new level and it's one of my best levels ever. It has so much effort put into it. It has really cool things going on for it. Basically everything you can ask for in a level. So this one part has an annoying jump or something. It's just commenting on that annoying part forever. Literally every single page will just be, I don't like this part, I don't like this gameplay, this sucks, you suck, everything sucks. Stuff that seems very hypercritical. And I might be saying, oh, Lily, you're just sensitive to criticism. Commenting on one thing for pages, you get the idea. If this were real criticism, they wouldn't be giving you one-word comments, and they'd actually be giving it to you in a very critical and detailed way that actually helps the creator. These don't help the creator at all. These just give them the unnecessary pressure and anxiety that is hard to deal with and doesn't actually make you want to solve the problem. It's not as if real criticism and actual feedback hasn't been a thing in Geometry Dash before. It has been, and it's been way better than what's going on right now. And people just kind of think that you can comment whatever just because you're slightly frustrated by this one part. The creator knows what that part is. You're not telling them anything new. However, you are telling them every single other part of the level isn't valued at all. That the only thing worth commenting on is that one jump, which is neglectful and doesn't really take into account what a creator puts into their level. Because they're doing this out of their complete free will. They're doing this out of their love of the game, or they just want to make things and they want to enjoy themselves. And treating this as if they have to be according to this impossible standard is ridiculous and something that is completely voluntary and completely just for fun. And I don't understand this energy that creators owe you things. It's not their fault that they got on the featured page. It's not their fault that they made a level that you don't like. It's not their fault that these things happened and coincided with you getting annoyed. I don't understand this energy of that they only deserve these comments and they have to be set to this impossible standard. What the creator sees when you do this, they put all this effort into their level and then no one sees that. And not only that, but they're bombarded by comments that basically enable harassment. Just because you don't like this one thing means that this creator doesn't deserve respect or appreciation or acknowledgement of their humanity, or just slack, just any slack at all. When they see 2 months of work devalued by your 5 minutes of frustration, what this really gives creators is just anxiety. When I got this in my level in like December, I literally did not know what the problem was. I had to ask people in their comments and I got nothing. I couldn't see, or annoying, or bad. That didn't help me at all. All that was putting was pressure upon me to fix something when there shouldn't have been pressure at all. This is just for myself. I'm not making this for other people, but there's still a negative pressure put upon me when there was no reason to do so. There's like no reason I should have this pressure. And this wasn't just me too. I was seeing this on my friends' comments where they were like literally panicking to fix things and they had no code to fix just because everyone is messaging and commenting to fix an issue that they didn't know about. And it doesn't really matter at all. You shouldn't have to be good to make levels that or things that you enjoy. And you shouldn't have to be good to make art. You should just be able to make art that you enjoy, not to be harassed into making a good thing. That's not healthy for a medium. What actually happens when you do this is that a standard is set. Creators feel like they are pressured into conforming to the standard. Creators with very diverse abilities that are not conventional and don't have indicators or don't have gameplay that people are used to, they kind of get pressured into making levels they don't want to create. These levels get devalued. The creator has to think every time they create, do people like this? Will I get harassed if I make this? That is very harmful to art form, which I think Josh Dash is. I think what is happening is people see things that go against the standard. Even if what they are saying is correct, they view that the fact you don't conform to the standard as a kind of excuse or means of harassment. If you actually viewed what they are criticizing as level in its entirety, it seems almost silly to point out this one block that's annoying or this one input when the rest of the level is just fine or even really good. If creators meet their standard, they don't say anything. Well, what doesn't reach their standard, that's what's criticized for pages. And that's what they focus on. It seems bizarre to do this, but they do it because they think that the standards they put on it are objective. When, you know, I am a star grinder, I can play a level and I think it's like a really good level, and then I scroll through the comments and they find mistakes that I don't even care about or even pay attention to because they think that that is a universal sentiment, when in reality it's just what they think is wrong because it's not adapted for their playing style. Indicators are an artistic choice and levels don't need them. In fact, some levels don't even work with them. By forcing levels to have indicators, you're forcing artistic choice onto the creator, which is trying to create a standard using false objectivity. It's like telling an instrumental artist to make things with vocals. You should change your view on the art, not the other way around. Or you can just not like it, but not making the artist a problem. And it's totally fine to think it's wrong. I think that anyone can find stuff that they like and dislike in levels. And levels that don't fit these objective qualities, I did not make up. Creators like Taboo, Amru, Pak, Swag, and Cabaret. They create levels that I love personally, but they don't fit the objective standards of features or anything. And I feel like we have to dissociate ourselves from this kind of standard in order to enjoy levels in our own way and find our personal meaning in them. And I actually think that the community can solve this, because this problem has only existed since like 2020. I've literally made levels that don't work in like 2018, and they've gotten less issues than more recent and thoughtful ones I've made that people are calling like MS levels. I think the reason this is a recent trend is because of what moderators are trying to do to the feature system inadvertently. Before moderators were like a thing in the community, I feel like people celebrated levels more because RobTop's standard was only that the level had to be playable, basically. The fact people went above and beyond and made great levels, and the fact creators were like engaging with them, created a way more positive attitude than there is right now. And I feel like with moderators trying to create a system that feels more like they're setting a standard, anything that is in the cracks of those standards that kind of violates that, people view that as the opportunity to attack them. And a lot of these levels feel like violations of those standards. They follow standards enough to be featured, but not enough to be perfect by those standards, which means people attack them. Based on the fact all levels are made independently and by the will of the creator, a lot of levels will fall in these cracks, and it's not the fault of the moderators. It's the fault of the system that's being created, based on the rating system they have to work in. The system will always be arbitrary, and enforcing these restrictions more would just make it worse, especially since standards are constantly changing and also abstract. However, I think we can solve this. Some solutions are more minor, like extending the character limit of comments so that people can give more detailed feedback, or the ability to disable a comment box. But I feel like some of them should be more radical, like voting on ratings of a level, or removing epic, or just changing the rating system systemically. I think what RobTop's doing is giving levels a rating out of 10, which actually might be a good solution to the problem right now. I feel like creators aren't getting feedback anymore because it's just pages of trying to get them to conform to standard or fix one thing. And I feel like a rating of the whole level might actually give them the feedback they need, especially by category, which is what RobTop is looking at. I feel like forcing players to look at the whole level might actually get them to reflect on it in its entirety instead of just this one part they don't like. This could also backfire because you have rating out of 10 and then feature and then comments. It could put more pressure on, but this might also be a good thing. We'll just have to see. Also, RobTop's adding replying comments, which might make players confront the actual agency of creators and create a cycle of feedback through replying comments and kind of getting to the root of the problem, or figuring out if there is one and the creators just wasting their time. Or it could lead to ratioing, which could lead to more harassment. But no matter what, I don't think this problem can be ignored. I think something has to be done. This problem cannot continue, because I think that the ability for creators to create things that are new and unique and cool and different is being threatened by this trend of harassment and devaluing and removing the agency of creators. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm super glad you made it this far. I'm really happy that I actually made this video. I've wanted to make this video for forever. Please, please, please give feedback on this. I will make levels soon. I am in the process of making levels. Please bear with me. There should be one coming out really, really soon. I love you. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day. Thank you. Bye.